All right, y'all. Welcome back to my channel and episode 2 of the Ballpark Bomb. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe below. As you guys can see from the last episode, I will be staying in Chicago and will be a Chicago Cubs fan for this episode and this episode only, giving my honest and unbiased opinion. All right, so before we dive into this video, I want to give you guys a quick little backstory of how I became a baseball fan and more in particular a fan of the Chicago Cubs. So naturally and by default, you would think that I would be a Cubs fan just on the strength of my dad, being that he's a diehard Cubs fan, but it didn't happen for me like that. And truth be told, I didn't even like baseball to begin with. I became a baseball fan after watching my very first game, which was the National League Championship Series on October 14, 2003, between the Florida Marlins and the Chicago Cubs. Right? You get what I'm saying? So that's a Steve Bartman game. Any baseball fan knows how traumatic and shocking that is to experience for your first baseball game. So naturally, and by default, my introduction into baseball was like through superstition and through the what we know as the curses and the bad lucks in baseball. You get what I'm saying? That was the very first game that I ever watched. So it was drama to begin with. It was passion to begin with. Like, I actually saw people pouring beer on that man's head because he grabbed the ball. And side note, y'all Cubs fans, y'all was wrong for that, because any fan would have did the same thing. Any fan would have reached for that ball. Any fan would have jumped up and been excited for that ball. And Moises Alou, he was a little bit dramatic, throwing his glove down and all of that stuff. But anyway, now as a kid, because I saw that has me like digging deep into the history of baseball, like finding out the reason why the Boston Red Sox were cursed and hadn't won a World Series since 1918 after they sold Babe Ruth to the Yankees. And then finding out about the Cubs curse when they brought the Billy Goat to the stadium in 1945 and all of that stuff. You get what I'm saying? So now I'm doing research and figuring out all of these things and why these things are happening. And I'm believing them, because at this time I'm a 10-year-old kid. It's all interesting to me. This is what's getting me interested in baseball. You get what I'm saying? So, yeah, that was my introduction. So, moving along. As y'all can see, I stuck to the original plan of catching a train to the stadium, which is the old-fashioned Chicago way of catching a train to either stadium, whether you're a White Sox fan or a Cubs fan. Going to Wrigley Field, it can get a little bit tricky. Not really tricky, but it's a lot of traffic, because Wrigley Field is actually in the middle of a neighborhood. And I always said that if I actually stayed in Wrigley Field or Wrigleyville, I don't know if I could do it, because that much noise and that much traffic all of the time, I'm not sure if I would be able to deal with that, But hey, kudos to the people that do stay there. Wrigleyville or Wrigley Field is a staple in that neighborhood, and it always will be, and I don't think they'll ever move it. Now, the Cubs stadium was very simple and straightforward, with a few statues being on the outside. And coincidentally, at the time of me editing this video, this first person that I have up, Ryan Sandberg, he just passed away maybe 2 days ago or 3 days ago prior to me editing this video. So rest in peace, Ryan Sandberg. The great Ron Santo. The great sweet swinging Billy Williams, who was also my dad's favorite player when he was growing up. The great Ernie Banks. The great Ferguson Jenkins. Here we have the 2016 World Series Championship Trophy, voted one of the best World Series in history, when the Cubs broke the curse and made a comeback to beat the Cleveland Indians in Game 7 of that World Series. All right, y'all, so here we go, finally making our way through the stadium. Now, I'm not going to lie, y'all, I tried to show y'all as much as I could. But sadly, and once again, giving my honest and unbiased opinion, Wrigley Field is actually kind of boring. Like, there's not much to show you in the stadium. And I think that may be due to the stadium being so original and one of the oldest stadiums in the league. I believe they opened up in 1914. And because of that, I think they try to keep the new additions to a minimum and keep everything original. So I'm sorry, guys. Even the concessions were quote unquote original. Like it really wasn't much to see. So finally making my way to my seat, I was actually able to catch a little bit of the batting practice from the opposing team, which I've never seen before. I've never gotten there early enough to see before. So I thought that was pretty cool. And here we have the friendly confines of the ballpark. I know that's a main attraction for the tourists of the city and the people who have never been to Wrigley before. The ivy along the outfield wall, I believe it was planted in 1937, along with that original scoreboard as well. That was also put there in 1937, which is a staple of the stadium. It'll always be there, I'm sure. They still use it, and it's still very active to keep up with the scores of the other games going along the same day. And now for the starting lineup of the opposing team, the Boston Red Sox. And now finally we have the starting lineup for the home team, the Chicago Cubs.
Center field, number 4, David pitching for the Cubs, number 15, Carson Kelly. Hitting 6 in left field, number 8, Ian Hammond. Hitting 7, shortstop, number 7, Dansby Swanson. Second baseman, number 2, Mika Warner. Hitting 9, playing third base, number 6, Matt Shaw. And pitching this afternoon's ball game for the Cubs rookie here, number 53, Colin Ray.
All right, y'all. So a quick little side note before we get into the game. As y'all can see, based on where I'm sitting at in the videos and based on this ticket, I'm actually in the second section away from the field, which y'all know I always sit in the first section no matter what stadium I'm at. And that's due to the prices being about triple of what they're normally at. And I believe it's because they're playing a huge market of the Boston Red Sox. Of course, one of the biggest fan bases in the sport of baseball, probably in all of sports. So, yeah, that explains why I had to sit a whole row back. These tickets were about $180 when typically they're about anywhere from $70 to $80. So really, in reality, me paying $180 was me getting lucky because, as I said, the tickets were about triple the price, so I paid closer to double. Now, coming out on the mound and the starting pitcher for the Cubs today is Colin Ray. And honestly, this season, he's been like an Oprah Winfrey Jr. You know, you get a homer, you get a homer, you get a homer. And actually, as of late, he's been slowing down on that and doing a little better. So we'll see how he does today. Now, here he is coming out with a first pitch strike, which we all know is a good sign of focus and control. And all we can do is hope that he keeps it up for today. And in totality, he actually finished strong today, only giving up 1 run on 4 hits with 5 strikeouts, which has been much better than what he's been doing as of late. Now, coming out on the mound today for the Red Sox, we have Lucas Giolito, who actually started out pretty rough, walking the first 2 batters, which was Michael Busch and Kyle Tucker. And then, of course, we got the big dog, the Japanese assassin, Seiya Suzuki, making him pay for it with a 3-run shot on the first pitch swing, straight to left center. And then just to show you guys how bad Giolito's luck was, he gave up a double to PCA directly after Seiya Suzuki's homer with the help of the sun blinding the third baseman's eyes. And when stuff like that happens early in the game, then you just know that it's not your day. Now here in the next inning, you could tell Giolito was a little frustrated and a little salty that Seiya Suzuki kind of opened up the game with that 3-run shot. As y'all saw, he came out with the first pitch and kind of threw it at Suzuki's head or close to his head, which is a dirty and cruel rule in baseball. You know, when the pitchers are feeling a little way or feeling a little salty, they kind of hit you, or they will hit you, or throw close to you to back you off the plate a little bit. But obviously that didn't matter to Suzuki, because as you guys are about to see, he still popped him with a fly-out single that just dropped out of thin air and still made it on base like a big dog is supposed to. Now, even though Giolito started out rough, he actually did finish a little stronger than he started, finishing with 6 strikeouts. He did give up all 4 runs that the Cubs scored this game. So, as we said before, sometimes it's just not your day. He tried to do the best he could to save himself. But, of course, that's where the team effort comes in at, and the offense wasn't able to do much with the Cubs pitching staff that day. Now here we have the Boston offense trying to come alive in the third with a clean single by Jarren Duran through the gap in right field. Then 2 batters later, we had the double by Roman Anthony to left center, who actually had a decent game. He went 2 for 4 today. He was the most electric for the Red Sox, but, you know, as I say, it's a team effort game, and the other players really couldn't do much. Then in the bottom of the 6th inning, we had the Cubs come alive again with a couple of walks, which was the start of their 1-run inning and the last of their runs for the day. And here we have Nico Horner with a single through the gap into left field, bringing in that 1 run and pretty much sealing the deal for the Cubs for the day. All right, y'all. So if y'all can remember from my last episode, which is my Brewers episode, I was very critical of their 7th inning stretch, the "Take Me Out to the Ball Game" song. I felt it was very plain Jane, and it almost sounded like the original version that came out in 1908. But as you can see, after watching this 7th inning stretch, I'm a little bit spoiled because the Cubs fans and the Cubs atmosphere, they bring a lot of they bring a lot of spirituality and they bring a lot of soul to the song. So check this out.
Take me out to the ball game.
And finally, to close out the game, we got a fly out to right by Abraham Toro. And as you guys can see, sticking around for the end of the game, the Cubs sing their game-winning song, "Go Cubs Go," which gives you guys another glimpse and a peek at the soul and the spirituality of the Cubs when it comes to their team. I'm pretty sure other teams or other people are just as passionate about their teams, but I have yet to see other teams bringing out that much passion out of their fans. All right, y'all. So that concludes this episode and my experience as a Chicago Cubs fan. As you guys can see, I didn't do any touring of the city. I didn't get anything to eat on this episode. I decided to save that for my White Sox episode. And what I did do instead was carry on with my day as regular and just surround myself with love and go to my family Friday night card game. And we kick butt in that as well. So y'all enjoy. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe below. Let me know what y'all think.
It was me doing.
All right, you guys. So, in conclusion of this video and wrapping up this video, I want to go ahead and move on to the jersey reveal and let you guys know what city I'm going to next. And hopefully you guys will give me some suggestions down below in the comments of places I should go and places I should visit whenever I go to this city in particular. But before I move on to that, I do want to answer the questions that I always ask at the end of every video, which is, can I see myself coming to Chicago or moving to Chicago and being a fan of the Chicago Cubs based on my experience? Yes, of course I can. The atmosphere and ambiance, what would I rate it? 10 out of 10. I believe the capacity for the Cubs was maybe like 42,000. It was a full house. Everybody was on one accord. It was so much soul, so much spirituality in the stadium, which anybody, any fan of any sport will love that. And the Boston Red Sox fans, they were in there too. They were in there deep, pretty deep too. And I love that. I love competition. You know, I love a healthy competition. As far as the actual stadium itself and what the stadium has to offer besides the game, I'm not gonna lie. I don't want to say it, but I would have to give them like a 4 out of 10, just for the simple fact that it was really nothing there for me to see. And I really didn't know that until taking upon this journey of traveling from city to city and going from stadium to stadium, baseball game to baseball game. But yeah, the Chicago Cubs, the Wrigley Field, they have to do better as far as having artifacts and things for people to see. Those 4 or 5 statues outside of the stadium, I mean, that's cool, but you know what I'm saying? People that like the history of baseball or the history of a team in particular, they want to see more. So hopefully in the future they have a little more to offer. But as of right now, I'm giving them a 4 out of 10 until they do some upgrades and add a few little more artifacts to the stadium and so on and so forth. As I said earlier in the video, I didn't do any touring or get anything to eat as I usually do. I actually plan to hold off until I do my White Sox video before I do a little more touring and getting something to eat, so on and so forth, so I can show you guys what the city of Chicago has to offer besides just the baseball. So anyway, moving on to my jersey reveal. I'll show you guys what city I'm going to next. Make sure you comment below and give me some suggestions. Let me know where to go. That's right. So we are going to the Motor City for the next episode. I'll see you there. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe, and let me know what you think.